So today we're talking to Glenn Goodrich, who's been a firefighter for 25 years, who rose up through the ranks rather than getting an education to start off his career. So Glenn, what made you decide to go into the workforce rather than getting an education?
I entered the workforce right after high school by enlisting in the United States Air Force. I spent just about 8 years and I traveled over both the oceans, Atlantic into England, and then the Pacific into Thailand. And after 8 years I left the Air Force and then got a job at the City of Long Beach as a fire truck mechanic, the trade that I learned while I was in the Air Force. And within 5 years I realized that the fire service was my calling, and I tested for and became a fireman.
Did you ever find any pros or cons having work experience over an education in the workforce?
Okay, having work experience helped a lot at the entry level of being a firefighter, because a firefighter, the basic firefighter, is basically a hands-on blue-collar type, tools, equipment, and how to use them, and a very physical job, not a job where you need a lot of education to do. Later on in the ranks, when you start to promote up into the supervisory positions, education does help. There are certificate courses. That you can go to, like the National Fire Academy or Fire Officer certification classes, and these would add to your resume, but not necessarily a formal education at a four-year college or something like that. And when you get into management, the upper management, like to the chief's job, those sometimes are required to promote into those positions.
Would you say having the work experience helped your career, or if you had the chance, would you go back and get the education that you didn't get?
In the beginning, the work experience helped a lot. You need people with practical experience and common sense, and they know how things work and things like this. But as far as the education, I recommend to all people that want to be a fireman now, get your education first, because it's harder to get later on when you start working shift schedule and you can't attend classes. When you're working a 24-hour shift, you can't say, hey chief, I got to go to a class tonight. So it is better to get your education first, but only on a practical sense, because it becomes very difficult to get your education later. So in the beginning, the practical work experience was best to get the job, but I do recommend that people get their education prior to that for later on in their career.
What high school did you attend?
I attended Tustin High School in Tustin, California.
What universities did you attend?
I attended the junior college at Orange Coast College, at Saddleback Junior College, and then I attended the University of Irvine. Guardian's office as a temporary or limited term position, entry-level position as a deputy public guardian.
What are your opinions on people who do not attend college?
Well, I have no personal opinion as far as they are concerned as individuals. I have an opinion that in this culture, it's a distinct advantage to have any type of college degree. Back 30 years ago, an AA degree was something, a bachelor's degree was something else, more important. Now, 30 years later, a master's degree is practically yesterday's bachelor's degree. But that's in the area of employment for professionals. I know that college isn't the only answer, the only solution. There are plenty of people just in the last 20 years that are famous and richly highly thought of, and are multimillionaires who never attended college. Those are the exception, the very rare 1%.
How is your life different since you decided to go to college versus going into the workforce?
Well, I always worked part-time during college and before college in service jobs, anywhere from a janitor, warehouseman, forklift drivers, that type of job. And after college, of course, I was able to enter a profession almost exclusively based on the fact that I attended UCI and that I had the major that I did. Was it different? The 31 years that I worked for the Public Guardian's office, the difference being is that I started at a higher salary than I probably would have if I had not attended college. There are thousands of jobs out there that I, at the time, in 1977, when I graduated, would not have been open to me. I wouldn't even needed to apply for those jobs. And consequently, I spent 31 years of my career with the Public Guardian in a profession that paid fairly well, that had and continues in my retirement to have tremendous medical coverage and benefits. The salary was much higher than it would have been for a blue-collar or no-collar type job. And after 31 years of working in that field, now that I've been retired for 3 years, the retirement, the pension, is just tremendous. It's equivalent to what I was earning while I was actually working 40 hours a week. And it is higher than any other investment I could have made over 31 years, including in the stock market or anything else, or savings account or CDs. And that is the ultimate end benefit to my having attended college and having been able to qualify for the jobs that